Hi, I'm Gwen. Welcome. So happy to have you here today. We are creating 3 beautiful, budget-friendly Easter and spring DIYs. Now let's just hop right on into our first DIY. We're going to take this beat-up sad sign from the Dollar Tree and make it into something beautiful. But first we're going to give it a good sand down, wipe it down really well, and then I'm going to fill in the 2 holes at the top with some spackling and then wipe away the excess, let that dry. And then with the help of my gorgeous little gizmo sleeping there, we're going to give it 2 coats of Waverly's chalk paint in the color plaster. I'm going to create some shiplap lines in the sign using this paint stir stick as my guide and a utility knife. Now, you don't want to press down too hard, but you do want to score or press down pretty hard so you can score the lines. Now, I kind of alternated between pressing down pretty hard and then just very lightly because I wanted some of them to be a little deeper than others, but you can also use a pencil to do this if you're not comfortable with the utility knife. I want the lines to look a bit distressed, so I'm just using a paint pencil, so I'm trying not to get too carried away with the distressing, and I'm just following along the line, tracing over it with the antiquing wax, and then immediately after applying it, I'm going to come back with the baby wipe and just wipe away the excess. Now I will smear it a bit. It is going to get distressed, but it's not heavily or overly distressed because that's not the look I'm going for with this piece. And I'm just going to continue that all the way across the sign. We're going to create a cross using twine, and I'm just going to attach this end of the twine to the back of the sign. I'm going to use a fair amount of hot glue. Now, you don't want to overdo it and make it ugly, but you do want to put a good amount because we're going to be pulling and tugging on this twine and you want it to stay in place. And I do give it time to set up before I start wrapping it around the sign. And you will want to keep your twine pretty taut as you're wrapping it around, and you will just continue to wrap it as many times as you want. I go probably 3-4 inches because I'm going to gather it in the center, and I still want it to be pretty wide after I gather it in the center, and you'll see what I mean in just a moment. And you might not have recognized the back of the sign whenever I was hot gluing the twine there. It's because I covered it with some brown gift wrap paper from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this big plastic needle to help me get my piece of string up under all the twine, and it just makes it go through so much easier. And once I get it through and get it positioned exactly where I want it, I'm going to pull it really tight and then tie a very tight knot so it'll cinch all that twine in. And then once I get the knot tied and I clip off the ends, a little trick that I like to use, I like to take a little bit of super glue or hot glue if I don't have super glue on hand, and just dab a little bit on those ends, and it will keep your twine from fraying, and it will help keep your knot from coming undone. Next, we're going to take this beautiful lace, and I'm just going to run it right up under that loop, and then we're just going to hot glue each end of the lace on the back side of the sign. So that I don't bore you, I'm just going to speed through this next part because we're repeating the exact same steps that I did whenever I created the horizontal section. This project is very neutral, so I wanted to add a pop of color to the center of the cross. And these beautiful pink roses are just perfect for the job. And these came from Walmart. I'm going to clip them down and again just hot glue them to the center. And then I'm going to come back in and tuck some of this really pretty green. I found this at my local Dollar Tree this year. I'm just going to tuck it in around the pink roses. That's it. I'm not going to add any other embellishments. I think it is just absolutely perfect the way it is. I have seen different projects like this on Pinterest for the last couple of years and wanted to create my own, just never did get around to it, and this year I made time for it. It's just been on my heart to do, and I just absolutely love this project. I'm so very happy with how this turned out. It was just so easy to make and just so budget friendly, but I'd like to know what you think about it. Ooh, y'all, it's been a minute, but I am so happy to be able to be back and participating in the first of the month collaboration is hosted each month by Krista at Krista's Crafty Life and Brenda at Rustic and Lace DIY. Thank you ladies so much for allowing me to be a part of it. I'll have their channels along with the playlist down in that description box. If you're here from the playlist, hi, welcome. So happy to have you here. For this DIY, we're going to be using this crate, and I picked this up from the dollar spot at Target's. I'm going to give it a good sanding down because it was a little bit rough, and then I'll just wipe it down really well to remove any residue. Now, when I envisioned this project, I had a really pretty French country blue in mind. I didn't have anything that came close to it, so I mixed together Ocean and Pool from Waverly. And I just kept mixing and mixing until I got the color that pretty close that was in my mind. Now, what you see I'm painting here on screen, it's a beautiful color, but the end result is going to be a little bit darker because I ran out of paint and had to mix up a second batch because I did do 2 coats. And so as you can see right here on screen, it is a little bit darker, but that's okay. It's beautiful. I love this color. And I am going to be distressing it and just adding some other paints and finishes to it. And I think you're going to love how this looks in the end. Next, I'm going to use an old chippy brush from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to dry brush the color Snow White over the entire crate. Or I think this is a crate, or is it a tray? Y'all tell me. Next, we're going to use this stamp, and this came from Hobby Lobby. I just love the script on it. It's just so whimsical and romantic, and I'm just going to randomly stamp all over the crate. I am going to set this aside and let it dry overnight. I want to make sure that the ink is not going to smudge. I've already taped down the stencil, and we're only going to be using the very top of it. I just want that design on here, and instead of paint, we're going to be using this lightweight spackling, and it's by DAP. And I usually order mine on Amazon, but this came from Walmart. Of course, you can use the one at the Dollar Tree and just add paint to it to make it white. But I'm just smoothing it out. I think I did about 3 layers. Now, I'm not being real careful to make sure it's just absolutely even all the way across because I want that kind of rustic, worn look. So I'm not being too particular when I spread it out. And then I'm just going to very carefully remove the tape and then just pull it straight up so as not to disturb my design. Now I'm going to let this sit overnight to make sure the spackling is absolutely dry, and then I'm going to come back in and just very lightly dry brush with another chippy brush from the Dollar Tree with this gold metallic paint, and it's from Amazon. It's by Art Me. And it's very thin, so you have to use multiple layers to really build up the color. I love it. I used it at Christmas time. It's just so beautiful in person. I wish you could see it. And I'm just very gently just brushing back and forth. I'm also going to take the tip of my finger and just very lightly go over that design because I want the gold to be more concentrated right here. But I still wasn't getting the color that I wanted. So I decided to come back in with just a little bit of Waverly's Antiquing Wax. And I'm just using a Q-tip because I don't want to smear it all over my design. I'm just very carefully going back in and going over the design. And I really loved how this looked. It's just so pretty and give it just such an aged, vintagey look. And I loved it so much I decided to take a baby wipe, and it's an almost dry baby wipe, and I'm just going around the edges of the crate and just very lightly blending it in. I'd rub it in and then just wipe it off, so I don't want it to be too heavy, and I absolutely love how this looks. We're going to add some jars from the Dollar Tree to our beautiful tray, and we're going to be adding flowers to that. And I've just taken some of this sheer ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It's beautiful blue, and I thought it would go well with the tray or crate. And I'm just wrapping it around the neck of the vase, and I'm only going to show you one to try and save some time. And then I've just made two very simple shoestring bows out of some more of that sheer blue ribbon, and then just some of this yellow ribbon that I picked up this spring from the Dollar Tree. And it's just very simple, very easy to make, and then we'll just pop them into the tray, and we're going to add some beautiful flowers to them. We're going to add some of these cute little fairy lights, and these came from Amazon, and then this greenery that I'm adding in came from Michael's this year, and I've just clipped off some little pieces and just popping it into the vase. And then we're going to add in some of these gorgeous yellow tulips, and these came from Amazon as well, and they're those real touch lifelike. They are just absolutely beautiful. The greenery on them, not so much, but you can strip that off if you prefer. Now, nothing in nature ever grows perfectly straight, so I like to give my flowers just a little wiggle and a bend, and then we're just going to pop them in there. I'm going to do 3 in each jar. You can do whatever number you want. You can even use just one larger jar if you prefer. I'm just showing you one to save a little bit of time, and then we're just going to add them to our tray, and y'all, they are just so beautiful. I absolutely love them. I've added a little bit of greenery to the bottom of the tray just to fill in some of the empty spaces. Now, you can do it with or without the greenery. I'd like to know which one you prefer. I'll show you in just a moment what it looks like without the greenery in the bottom. But y'all, I am so in love with this crate tray, whatever you want to call it, and I am just loving these yellow tulips with this beautiful blue color. It is giving off such a wonderful spring vibe, and I hope that you love this as much as I do. For this DIY, we're going to use this cutting board, and I picked this up last year from my local Walmart in their dollar spot section. I've already given it a good sanding down, and then we're going to give it 2 coats of Waverly's chalk paint in the color plaster. Next, we're going to add this adorable bunny to the cutting board. Now, y'all, I've had these window clings for so long. I believe they came from Dollar Tree, not 100% sure. If not, I'll list it here on the screen. I'm going to add Mod Podge directly to the back side of the window cling. I'm not going to add it to the cutting board because later I'm going to come back and paint around the bunny, and you'll see what I mean in just a moment. I'm going to center it up as best I can on the cutting board and then just kind of smooth it out. Then I'm going to place a sheet of plastic wrap over the top, and using my brayer, I'm just going to roll over it. You want to do this gently. You don't want to move it around, and it's going to help squeegee out any excess air bubbles or any excess Mod Podge that might be up under there, and it's going to help your window cling to adhere to the cutting board. Then I'm going to come back and add another layer of Mod Podge over the entire window cling. 2 reasons: it's going to help seal that window cling in where it won't pop up around the edges, and the other reason is to help take some of that shininess from the plastic down, and it makes it look more realistic, more like a painting. Now, I did let this dry overnight before I came back in with my paint, and I'm just mixing together a variety of colors, and I'll put those down in the description box. And I'm just using a plain old sponge dauber and just kind of dabbing and swirling all the way around the bunny. Now, the beauty of this, with it being a cling wrap, if you get some on the bunny and you don't want it there, you can always use a baby wipe and just gently wipe it away. In some areas, I just kind of left it, just kind of made it all blend in together. As you can see, this is not looking very pink. I wanted it more pink. So after I finished painting and it dried, I looked at it and I'm like, it's still not pink enough. So I mixed together some more paint, and I believe the main color I used was Conch Shell from Folk Art. Like I said, I'll have it down in the description box. and I was much happier with that color. Off camera, I covered the back side of the cutting board with just Mod Podge and brown crafting paper from the Dollar Tree. And now we're going to add this trim. And I picked this up just recently from Michael's, and we're just going to add it all the way around the outside of the cutting board. I don't know if you can see her or not, but my sweet Gizmo is in the background sleeping away. She's worked so hard at supervising, she had to take a nap. We're making a really simple bow to go at the top of the cutting board, and it's just a variety of ribbon I had on hand. The more the merrier, right? But they came from Amazon, Dollar Tree, Walmart, and I'm just tying it in the center with some twine. I'm going to double knot it just to make sure it's not going to come undone. Hot glue it to the top of the cutting board, and then for the cherry on top, we're going to add this cute little flower button that I picked up from Hobby Lobby right in the center of the bow. This was just such a fun and easy little project to make, and so inexpensive, and just a perfect addition to your kitchen for the spring season. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. If you're here with me to the end, drop me a hello or a wave down below and let me know that you're still here. Thanks to Krista and Brenda for hosting this wonderful collaboration on the first of each month. We appreciate you ladies. And guys, if you're not subscribed, I hope you'll take a moment and smash that subscribe button. It would mean so much to me, and it's an absolutely free way to support all of our channels, and we truly appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. And I will see you soon.